So welcome to the video. Long Island, New York, Massapequa Trail. This is my old stomping grounds, and we are spending the weekend at Airbnb in Nassau County. Of course, figured I would bring one of my bikes just to get some training in, get some miles in for the 5-borough bike tour that is in about 3 weeks from today. Overall, doing pretty good. While I wanted to bring one of my Wobbies, I wanted to bring the Classic since it's a better training bike, lightweight. Also, you can work on your leg strength. The forecast called for a lot of rain, so I figured, why not take the Trek Domane. I've been enjoying this bike. These roots are no good. Not for tiny tires like these 32s. Alright, over here it's fine. Would have been better if I had actual gravel tires this time. Oh, tree fell down. That's kind of crazy. Alright, low gear, let's see if we can make it up this hill. Got the gears and sort of the leg strength. I don't know if we've got the right tires though. Ugh, no, we don't have the right tires or the leg strength. It's okay though, totally okay. Also running on this bike the stock wheels, not the carbon wheels. Stock wheels are a bit easier for strength training and stuff like that. I've got a heavy backpack on as well, 2 full water bottles. Why not train heavy, race light? That's what I was saying. The stock wheels, I'm really enjoying these tires. They are the Continental Grand Prix 5000 all-season tires in 32 millimeter width. So they're good for training. Run them in low pressures. Knock on wood, they seem to be puncture resistant. I'm not running tubeless. I can't stand tubeless. I'm just running them with some TPU inner tubes. Whew. I had to catch my breath from that climb, that gravel climb we just did. So I'm really enjoying these tires. I'm sure they're not great for the steeper, rougher gravel, but they cover road really well, and they cover a lot of the light to medium gravel that I would do. Guy was just looking at me like, who are you talking to? People think I'm crazy, just talking to myself. Should we play in some gravel? Let's play in some gravel. Got the bike for it, and those sort of the tires for it. Shift down to the small ring on my Ultegra mechanical. Oh, we gotta watch out for the puddles, but yeah, this stuff, you could really do this stuff with a 28 millimeter tire as well. You could probably do it with a 25. I would say at least a 28. Whoa. Just fit. Oh God. I would say at least a 28 and run it a little bit lower. I don't know what pressure I'm running in these. I pumped them up to 65 and I let some pressure out. So between 50 and 60 PSI. This is very, very, very light gravel. Just keeps things fresh, change it up, you know. Of course, I'm not going to be racing around these corners in these slick tires, but still fun. Underbiking, that's the term. Underbiking is a lot of fun. What's up, bunny? Go back on the road now. Had my fun, but I like riding on the road. How you doing? What's up? Finding it hard to turn the pedals today. It's like that sometimes though, just gotta push through, and some days you're feeling amazing, some days you're feeling a little bit too tired. We could talk forever about this, it's been on my mind for quite a bit, but if there's anything that you really want to do in life, whether it's YouTube, riding your bike, anything, painting, anything you want to do, but you find that you're not doing it because of X or because people aren't going to want to see it, just don't worry about the rules or what you need to have, and just do it. Just do it and have fun. Alright, we've got a downhill section coming up, followed by a quick punchy climb. I used to speed through these back in the day, but we've got people walking and we've got a dog right there, so we just have to be a bit careful. See that squiggly line right there? Squiggly line. A few years ago, that climb used to be so much bigger than I remember. That's one of the benefits of training on a single speed bike all the time. You just get used to not shifting down, and when you're on a geared bike and you can shift down, it's just more luxurious. I tell you, for a relaxed endurance bike like this Trek Domane, this bike really feels like you could still zip around. When I was going down that squiggly line path that I said I usually speed down and right up that hill, the bike is very agile. Maybe it's because I sized down. I started out riding on a 56, 58 centimeter bike, then I found those were a bit too long, so now I'm on a 56, and maybe it just means the bike is more agile, but pleasantly surprised. One of the most relaxed endurance geometry bikes you can get. Relaxed geometry endurance bikes, that is, but it still feels very agile. Very surprised, and that's probably one of the reasons why I chose this bike over the giant TCR that I had. And with that being said, we are at about our halfway point, which is 13.5 miles. I could do 20 miles there, I could do 40 miles, but I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. I don't want to hurt my neck, and I've still got 3 weeks, I almost said 3 months. So you just got to pace yourselves. I have to pace myself, train, get my miles in and have fun with it. And I know if I do 20 miles out and do a lot more hills on the way home or the way back to where we're staying this weekend, it's going to be much tougher. Those last 10 miles, I'm going to be like, man, I wish I cut it short a little bit. I've got to say, it really is a beautiful day today. I thought it was going to be low 40s, high 30s. That's how it was yesterday. We're coming up in the middle of April and it's still feels like winter. So pleasantly surprised that all I need today is a flannel shirt and fingerless gloves, which I normally wear just in case I fall, I don't mess my hands up. But yeah, just got a sweater in my backpack and a headband in case my ears get cold, but beautiful, cool spring day. Something else that's been on my mind is single speed versus geared bike. I kind of wanted to be all single speed all the time and just have the geared bike just for certain scenarios, but I've got to say there is nothing wrong with switching back and forth. It's just different riding styles. And, you know, for especially coming out of the winter, taking a few months off, not riding the indoor trainer at all, it's nice to be able to just hop on a geared bike. You want to do a longer hilly ride, and it's not going to be a sufferfest. Which, if you're just going to ride for 10 miles for an hour, smash it out, you know? Just get on your single speed, sprint everywhere. That's what they're good for. But you know, not every ride needs to be like that. And if that's every single one of your rides, if you're anything like me, it's going to get old real fast. So there really is something to be said about just hopping on a geared bike, and you still have the option of upshifting into a harder gear and doing a smash fest, just sprinting everywhere, pedaling hard. But
right.
You could set up a bit, put it in low gear, and just chill. And you're getting more of a, what do they call, steady state cardio. Your heart rate is a lot more steady, not crazy high and then crazy low. It's not like sprinting and then walking. It's more like jogging, if you would. Especially a lot of geared bikes nowadays are going to have disc brakes and come with the ability to run wider tires. Even road racing bikes, you can go up to a 32, which just means that you don't need a gravel bike as much as you used to. And if you ride in the wet, disc brakes are just far superior for real world cycling outside, riding through a puddle like you see right there. Disc brakes, in my experience, are also, thank you. Disc brakes, in my experience, are also less finicky, believe it or not. You know, if you ride through a puddle, you don't have to, for example, let me say it like this. If you have a rim brake bike and you ride in the rain, you're gonna hear the rims and the pads get so dirty that they're gonna be scraping. And I just picture you're scraping away your actual wheel, and you're wearing away your actual wheel instead of wearing away a rotor. Of course, with aluminum rims, look at this. This is all like a little downhill. And I forgot to shift into my big ring. Of course, with aluminum rims, if you choose good brake pads like the Cool Stop Reds, you're gonna get good performance, but it's just a little frustrating that every time you get caught in the rain, you gotta clean your rims. Whereas disc brakes, caught in the rain, caught in the snow, you know, you do need maintenance, but in between those maintenance intervals, you don't need to, you don't need to clean them and maintain them as much. Sure, they can start rubbing and they can get bent. Pros and cons, right? But in my experience, I mean, I used to be all about, you know what, save the disc brakes for just a rainy day and off-road, but honestly, if I could only have one bike, it would have disc brakes. And I like hydraulics. I like Shimano hydraulics. I know how to bleed them. I have a bleed kit. It's really not that bad. It takes all of 5 minutes. It's harder to unwrap your bars than it is to actually do a bleed on the brakes. So just something, anyway, tangent about the brake system is over, but there's room for both in everyone's bicycle quiver. Of course, I like single speed road bikes with rim brakes because it just makes it very simple. Now, like, I just praise disc brakes like crazy, but there's something to be said about just, you know, being able to maintain your entire bike with a simple set of hand tools. You don't need to worry about having specialized bleed kits that come with mineral oil and syringes and funnels and all that stuff. So it is a bit of a pain to clean the rims and the pads every week if you're riding a lot, but on a single speed bike, you don't need to maintain your gears. You know, they're cheaper, they're lighter, you know, so you gain the maintenance of your rim brakes, but you lose all the maintenance that you'd have to do if you had a geared bike. So I like both. If I'm going for a ride under an hour or even 2 hours in the city, I like taking my Wabi. But if it's raining, and if I'm trying to get back in shape, or if I'm trying to spend more time in the saddle, hold on. You know, coming off of the off season where you haven't been riding and you're trying to spend a lot more time in the saddle and get used to being on a road bike, that's where a geared bike is going to help you a lot more than a single speed. Since right now we climbed a little over 400 feet of climbing, and while climbing on a single speed is easier than you think, it's all about choosing the right gear ratio for your terrain and your fitness level.
I like to walk.
No doubt I would feel a lot more tired and my legs would be more fatigued if I took one of my Wabis versus versus taking this bike. So, just what's been on my mind lately. That subject deserves a whole separate video because there's a lot more talking points. But they're both good. Ride them both and enjoy both of them. This bike has been full of dirt and gravel crap for 6 months. Definitely gonna clean it today with a hose. The ride by the numbers, 27.4 miles, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we got 702 feet of elevation. Not bad, feeling pretty good. Thanks for watching.